Well, good morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Taylor Stephenson with 13 News Now, a news station based in Norfolk, Virginia. And so today we are going to be walking through the weekend, but the main reason why we're doing this stream today at 11, tonight at 7, and again at 11 and 7 tomorrow on your Sunday is because we're anticipating severe weather on the horizon on Monday. Now, the chance is possible, but that risk could go up as we get closer to that day. And the Storm Prediction Center, based out of Norman, Oklahoma, refines their forecasting. It could be a level 3 in place for places from the Carolinas down through the deep south near parts of the Gulf. So we'll watch for the potential for some severe weather as we get into the beginning of the work week. But let's walk you through the next 3 days so you know exactly how to prepare through your weekend and into the potential severe weather on Monday. So right now, here's a look at our live radar. And our live radar is always streaming on our 13 News Now Plus app on Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV if you ever want to see another update or chance to see the active radar. But satellite and radar for us shows some thicker clouds are really starting to move into the area this morning. And what we're seeing for right now is just rain to our north. So as we take a closer look about what we're seeing here across the area, most of that rain is coming down in places like the Delmarva Peninsula into the northern neck. So Tappahannock, as you head towards the bay, we're seeing some light to moderate rainfall. And then near west over into Elliott, Salisbury, and then parts of Maryland, we're also seeing some of that rain as well. Chesapeake Ranch Estates, Lakesville, down to Snow Hill. Now, we did have a few showers earlier near Chincoteague, down near Keller and Exmoor this morning, but all that rain really moved out to sea. So we're only just seeing some light rainfall coming through just right here off of the western banks of the eastern shore near Cashville. So we're talking Accomack County getting in on some of that rainfall this morning, but very, very light in nature. The rest of the area, not seeing any rainfall, and that's how it will stay until we get into your Monday. On your Monday, that's when we start to really pick up that rainfall and temperatures throughout the weekend and through Monday ahead of that strong cold front, bringing the showers and potential severe weather will be in the upper 70s and lower 80s. So I would definitely recommend and get out and enjoy it. Right now, here's a more regional look of our satellite and radar. And it's showing how the cloud cover extends. The thickest cloud cover here in parts of Virginia through northern Virginia into DC and Maryland. We are seeing some more wispy clouds down through parts of the Carolinas, but the cloud cover gets much thicker as you get into the deep south. This is the bigger picture. Satellite and radar shows this huge low pressure system and multiple systems as you go all the way from Boston through parts of the middle parts of the country where we're seeing some of that rainfall. So here's the line of low pressure systems that I'm looking at right now. This area, anywhere from Oklahoma through Kansas and Missouri, is going to be the bullseye for some potential severe weather today. So I'll give you a look at that as we look at what's coming and what's ahead on the horizon. So for today, we are not in any type of severe weather outlook. We are waiting for that potential on Monday as we get closer to the end of Monday night into early Tuesday morning. Here's what we're looking at for today. A level 2 out of 5 risk stretching from Oklahoma City through Wichita, Kansas, up through Kansas City, Missouri, and Kansas City K. We also are talking Springfield, Missouri, also seeing some potential for some severe weather. The main threats are going to be isolated tornado possibility, but the main threat is going to be some damaging wind gusts and the potential for some larger hail, especially anywhere from Wichita to Goldtree, and then just north of Oklahoma City and northwest of Tulsa. There also is a smaller area here around New Orleans as you get into Macomb, Mississippi, Biloxi, Mississippi, Hattiesburg, Mississippi. There is a small risk for an isolated tornado today there as well. So something to keep in mind as we venture off. What we like to look at is the potential for severe storms, and also the severe storms that already occurred. So this system is the one we'll be watching as it continues its trek across the country. If this produces severe weather today, it's likely that it will produce severe weather downstream. This is Sunday's severe weather outlook, a day 2 outlook, and it shows that big orange area. That is a level 3 out of 5 risk for severe weather, meaning that there will be numerous severe thunderstorms, and the main threats are tornadoes, wind, and hail, but mainly in that bullseye, especially as you go from Memphis up through about Cincinnati, just outside of Cincinnati. There is a pretty good tornado risk. Anywhere in that point, we could see there's a 10% or greater probability of strong tornadoes, so EF2 to possibly EF5 within any 25 miles within a point. So not saying that EF5 is possible. EF5s are very, very rare. We did not get an EF5 with our last tornado outbreak that happened a couple weeks ago. So I would say the risk for an EF5 this weekend with any parts of this severe weather will be very low, especially if the one during the tornado outbreak during a high-risk day did not happen. So I'm thinking more of those stronger tornadoes, maybe EF2, EF3 may be unlikely as well. It just depends on how this really sets up, and we'll watch for updates, but we could see anywhere from EF0, EF2 at least. So we're watching for that potential. We're also watching for some damaging wind gusts. That's definitely the main threat, and that's anywhere in that orange circle just south of Chicago through St. Louis, Cincinnati, Memphis, all the way down into parts of northern Louisiana. And then hail is also another very big risk. So all severe weather modes are possible with this system, or severe weather threats are possible with this system as we get into your Sunday. Now, where does that threat lie as we get into our area on Monday? And you'll notice that as we get into your Monday, that severe weather threat shifts to the east. It's a huge area. It spans from through parts of upstate New York all the way down to the Gulf states. Now, the Storm Prediction Center did say that there may be a possibility that places in the Carolinas down through the deep south may be placed in a level 3 out of 5 risk, so that orange color. But right now we are in, everyone across most of the East Coast is underneath a level 2 out of 5 risk for severe weather. Here in Hampton Roads, northeastern North Carolina, that's the same case. So our main threats are going to be damaging wind gusts, maybe some localized flooding. We could see maybe possibly a little bit of hail, but that's it for that system. So what I encourage you to do is try to get outside today, because it's going to be a gorgeous day. Tomorrow, another really nice day before things deteriorate as we get into the work week. So recent wind gusts right now as high as about 15 to 30 miles per hour. Those south winds, though, what they do is they transport a very warm air mass. And so temperatures this morning started off in the upper 50s to middle 60s. It was a very mild, comfortable morning. Like, you didn't even need a jacket. I wore my jacket this morning and I kind of regretted it a little bit, just because you definitely did not need it. But recent wind gusts as high as about 30 miles per hour, and that will continue through the afternoon. So for today, we're talking some cloud cover, so a mix of sun and clouds, basically partly sunny. Temperatures in the upper 70s by 1 p.m. Now, places around the eastern shore and the outer banks, they will be in the area. They will be in those lower 70s to those middle 70s. But overall, what we're talking about is the potential for what will be a pretty warm day. I mean, temperatures have a very good chance of reaching the lower 80s at least. That's about 10 to 20 degrees above normal for this time of year. Area-wide, upper 70s, lower 80s by 4 p.m. Again, Eastern Shore, Outer Banks, you'll be in the lower to middle 70s this afternoon. But as you can see, some breaking apart in the clouds, but it's really just like a hodgepodge of sun and clouds mixed here, mixed there. So the cloud cover will actually really build in later tonight. But temperatures tonight will not really fall much. One, because we have that persistent south wind, and that continues to pull in warm air. But two, the cloud cover will help to act like a blanket and almost insulate us from losing a lot of that heat that we would typically lose at night. So temperatures around 8 p.m. will be in the upper 60s to lower 70s, and late tonight, even getting closer to midnight, we're still in those upper 60s. Area-wide, some places in the lower 60s. So if you head out today, definitely recommend it. Cherry Blossom Festival is in full swing, and so I would recommend going and seeing those beautiful cherry blossoms at Red Wing Park in Virginia Beach. But if you do so, just make sure you have the allergy medicine. I always prided myself kind of in a way of saying I'm not the type of person to have allergies, and I think that now living in Virginia for a couple of years, I am starting to possibly develop them, because even around this time of year last year, when I was at Red Wing Park, looking at the cherry blossoms and doing forecasts around the cherry blossoms, my eyes started to water, nose started to run because of the pollen. So I think this time of year, especially in Virginia, with the type of trees that are up here, I think they're starting to get to me too. So with the extreme range in pollen, most of us will start to feel a little bit of something, whether that's a headache, a little bit of a runny nose, itchy eyes, maybe a little bit of a itchy throat. Juniper, birch, sycamore are the main tree pollen allergens for today. Grass, weeds, mold, not in the picture for your Saturday. This weekend, though, gorgeous. Lower 60s today, lower 80s as we get into the afternoon. Mostly sunny, warm, and breezy. Tomorrow, we knocked the temperatures down just a few degrees. We'll start off very similarly to this morning, where we'll be very comfortable, lower 70s, but it'll be pretty cloudy tomorrow morning. Temperatures in the upper 70s tomorrow afternoon. Some places may reach the lower 80s, but it will be warm again, beautiful, a mix of sun and clouds. But I want to pay your attention to that 10% chance of rain. This chance for rain is the precursor to what will be the main event on Monday night. So a weather impact alert is in effect for late on Monday. The time frame roughly right now is around 7 to about 11 p.m. So a very quickly moving system. But the problem is the models are being fairly inconsistent right now. Earlier this morning, we had the model showing a line of storms rolling through right around sunset and tapering off around midnight on Tuesday morning. And now that same model, the graph model, which is our in-house model here for our station, just shows a little bit of just a thunderstorm around 7 to 8 p.m. on Monday night, and then shows a bigger burst of energy very early Tuesday morning around 3 to 4 a.m. So very inconsistent with the models. I still think that this will be a late Monday night event. So we're going to keep late Monday, but don't be surprised if we keep refining our timing as we get closer to the event. That may push it a little bit later. That may make it a late night Monday to early Tuesday thing as the models become more consistent. Now, of course, our main impact will be strong to possibly severe storms. And with these storms, we could see gusty winds and maybe a little bit of small hail. We also could see some of heavy rainfall at times. So what you need to do is stay close to the forecast. That means keeping up with the streams we do at 7 and 11 this weekend, 11 a.m., 7 p.m. today and tomorrow, and keeping up with the forecast as we do have the weather desk at 9 a.m. on Monday as well. And obviously staying up to date, downloading our 13 News Now app for your phone, which is free, and we'll send you alerts when we stream and when we also have severe weather. And then making sure you're staying on air with or tuned in on air to our forecast. So again, still level 2 out of 5 risk for severe weather. The potential for the Storm Prediction Center to elevate that to level 3 further south is possible. So we'll wait to see what they do. But that's pretty often that I've seen this in my 4-year career as a meteorologist, where there will be a level 2 out of 5 risk on day 3 outlook to give you a little bit of weather knowledge. Day 1 means today. So when we're talking about a day 1 outlook, that means the active day it is. Day 2 is tomorrow, and day 3 is the day after. So it may be a little confusing when I say day 1, day 2, day 3. So day 3 means not today, not tomorrow, but the next day. And so this is Monday. So our day 3 outlook, when we usually have a level 2 there, a lot of times I've seen in my career is that they'll up it to a level 3 as we get closer. So I wouldn't be surprised if tomorrow I walk in the door tomorrow and a level 3 out of 5 risk is in place for parts of the Carolinas through the deep south. But again, a level 2 out of 5 risk is a low to medium risk of severe weather, meaning that we could see some strong winds, possible wind damage, but that's still even low, just really gusty winds, meaning that you should be inside when these storms happen. When thunder roars, of course, head indoors. Our tornado risk for tomorrow is very low. And then isolated, maybe some small hail is possible. But again, as you can see from our threat meter, that damaging winds by far is the biggest risk. Localized flooding is still a possibility for those poor drainage areas, but we aren't too concerned because, again, this is a pretty quickly moving system. So walking you through Futurecast through your Sunday night into your Tuesday morning, this is what the newest models have in place for your weather impact alert on Monday. So we'll see some rain building to our west. This will be overnight Sunday into early Monday morning. So your Monday morning commute may be a little bit wet. So what you need to do is give yourself some extra time to get out the door, head on the roads, because we already know traffic can be bad, especially around 8 o'clock. But then you add on rain on top of that, and it makes it a little bit more messy. So give yourself an extra few minutes to take your kids to school, go to work. We may see some isolated showers through the afternoon. Now, what makes this forecast timing very important is 2 things. One, the timing of the storms depends and will pick up on how intense these storms may be. But 2, if we get enough sunlight during the day, that will help to build up some of that energy so that the storms can get going after sunset. Now, the models have shown that there will be some clearing in the sky by about 1 p.m., even after that morning rain, and that solar energy will help to fuel the storms later on. The more cloud cover we have, the less energy we get from the sun, and the less opportunity that the storms have enough energy to become strong to severe. So best case scenario is that it stays fairly cloudy throughout Monday to limit that severe weather potential. But again, it looks like we will get some decent sunshine, and temperatures will be very warm again on Monday. By the afternoon, rising to the lower 80s once again and upper 70s. So here's the newest model update, and I'm just not buying it right now. I think that once we get into the afternoon and evening time, we'll get our update, and it'll probably look very similar to the one this morning. Temperatures are going to rise to the lower 80s and upper 70s, a few showers and thunderstorms, but notice how there's only one thunderstorm that's really popping up around here. Earlier, this one thunderstorm was a line of storms right here through the area. So I think it's going to be more of a line of storms that rolls through. But again, this is just one model run. Don't take this as law. Take it with a grain of salt, because more than likely this will be updated and revert back to what we saw earlier this morning. Temperatures, again, in those 70s will drop off to the 50s as that front moves through. But look how much energy or the burst of energy we see around 3 a.m. on Tuesday. That's why I'm a little suspicious, just because this was not at all included in the morning run. but it's showing some heavier rainfall moving through from north to south. You can even see that division of the cooler temperatures to the north with 50s in Tappahannock, with warmer temperatures to the south of that front in the upper 60s like Virginia Beach. But everybody will get in on the cool air as north winds start to pull in that cool air mass. Temperatures on Tuesday morning will start to fall to the upper 40s and lower 50s with mostly cloudy skies. Will clear out throughout the day on Tuesday, but it will be cool and breezy. Wind gusts as high as about 25 to 30 miles per hour on Tuesday. And on the cooler side, temperatures will be back near normal in the lower 60s. You add a little bit of a wind, you get a small wind chill. So it will feel probably more like the upper 50s to lower 60s. But it's going to be a little more of a body shock because we're so used this, especially this weekend, to upper 70s, lower 80s, and then all of a sudden we drop 20 degrees between Monday and Tuesday, and it doesn't feel like it should be that cold, but typically during a early April day, because Tuesday is April 1st, we should be somewhere in those lower to middle 60s. Well, middle 60s. So it's normal for this time of year, but it's going to feel shocking because we're just in the 80s today. We'll be in the upper 70s, lower 80s tomorrow, and we'll be back again in the lower 80s on Monday. So don't be too alarmed. That's normal for this time of year, especially these cold fronts that we get through because it is springtime. And so this is the type of time where we have the most active weather pattern. And so cold fronts that drastically change weather patterns up and down between warm and cold, dry and rainy, all of that happens very frequently between March and May. And really the activity really starts to ramp up in April. Overall, we're going to pick up anywhere from half an inch of rain to an inch of rainfall. And any rain that we can squeeze out of this system will be super beneficial. We are underneath a abnormally dry and a moderate drought here in Hampton Roads in northeastern North Carolina, mainly on the south side. And then the moderate drought is in that tan color, Ahoskie, Elizabeth City, and Eatonton. We are still underneath abnormally dry conditions in parts of the northern neck into the eastern shore. And then out through Richmond, through Lynchburg, Farmville, South Boston, there's also a abnormally dry conditions. A moderate drought is to the north in northern Virginia. So while we definitely welcome the rain, not only because it will help to break through some of this drought, but it also helps to wash away a lot of that pollen that we're going to collect over the weekend. What we don't want is those severe thunderstorms. So again, if we can get a lot of that cloud cover to stick around for us on Monday, that will help to limit the severe potential. And thus just giving us more rain, maybe a few thunderstorms, but less strong to severe. So something to keep in mind. But walking you through again for your weather impact alert, that is going to be on Monday, March 31st, the last day of the month, late on Monday. Right now I'm thinking right around sunset and after, so sunset through about 11 p.m. on Monday. Strong to severe storms the main possibility, but gusty winds and some locally heavy rainfall are the main threats. So what you need to do is stay very close to the forecast as things are likely to update and continue to monitor all the models that we show you. So again, I'll walk you through briefly one more time so you know exactly how to prepare for your weekend. Today is going to be a lovely day. Temperatures started off in the lower 60s. We're going to make it to the lower 80s. Our normal high temperature for this time of year is 64 degrees. So we're going to be 15 to 20 degrees above average for this time of year. Partly sunny, warm, but breezy. Wind gusts can be as high as 25 to 30 miles per hour. And we've already seen some gusts isolated a little bit higher than 30, around 31 miles per hour, especially in Virginia Beach. Tomorrow, lower 60s, a mix of sun and clouds. Temperatures will rise to the upper 70s after starting in the lower 60s. It's going to be a beautiful day once again, and there's mix of sun and clouds tomorrow. But then again, that 10% chance of rain is just that precursor for the morning showers we'll see on Monday before this possible strong to severe storms on Monday night. Now, today, if you're heading out, again, just making note that this is the tree pollen outlook extreme levels of tree pollen. And we're not the only ones seeing these really high levels of pollen. Down in Atlanta, they just broke their daily pollen count by a long shot. So trees are actively blooming everywhere. And a lot of times with the wind direction, we can actually pull in pollen from other states. So I wouldn't be surprised if some South Carolina and some western North Carolina pollens are making their way towards northeastern North Carolina and southeastern Virginia with that northwest wind. So that only adds to the pollen count that we already have in our local area when you have some stronger winds pulling in pollen from other areas of the country. But walking you through the rest of your late weekend into your very early start to the work week, we'll have a few isolated showers on Sunday night, but we'll see some morning showers possible for the morning commute. Temperatures on Monday will be in the lower to middle 60s, lots of cloud cover. And if this model holds together and this particular solution holds together, we could see some morning rain during the morning commute. So that can make it a little bit less easy to drive. So make sure to give yourself some extra time to get on the roads. We'll see some clearing in the skies through the afternoon. A few pop-up showers may be possible. Temperatures by 1 p.m. already in the lower to middle 60s. Lower to middle 70s. We'll make it to the lower 80s by the afternoon. We'll stay in the upper 70s through sunset, and then we'll see some storms popping up. Again, I think that this will be a less likely scenario of storms firing along the cold front, but I do think that we'll see a line of possible strong to isolated severe storms producing gusty winds and heavy rainfall late Monday into very early Tuesday morning. But by Tuesday's commute to work, most of that rain should be gone. Temperatures will drop because those north winds start to filter in that cooler air mass. So temperatures will be in the upper 40s in middle 40s to lower to middle 50s with a lot of cloud cover. And on Tuesday, highs will only be in the lower to middle 60s. And I'll show you that on our 7-day forecast. Temperatures take a big dive after this weekend. So again, you may feel a little bit of a shock when you wake up on Tuesday morning, but honestly, middle 40s for morning temperatures and lower to middle 60s for afternoon high temperatures are the norm for this time of year. But this weekend, lovely. Please go out and enjoy it. Lower 80s today, upper 70s tomorrow, lower 80s again on Monday. Before that front really starts to pass through, we'll get those south winds pulling in their warm air mass. And so we'll see those temperatures rising back to the 80s. And then after that, we get humbled right near normal to the lower to middle 60s for Tuesday and Wednesday. We'll dry out briefly on Wednesday before we get our next push of really warm air on Thursday and Friday, where temperatures will soar back to the lower 80s. But on Thursday and Friday, we have our next chances for some isolated showers. And looking ahead to that next system, because remember I showed you the possibility of severe weather with this system coming on Monday back in parts of the Mid-South and then Great Lakes and even into the Great Plains. The system on Thursday and Friday has the potential of bringing some severe weather again to the Mid-South. So we'll see how that progresses to see what impacts we may face from Thursday through next weekend. But again, try to enjoy this weekend as the temperatures and the conditions are so lovely. Again, we'll be streaming again at 7 p.m. with meteorologist Hunter Forrest. I'll also be back at 11 a.m. tomorrow to stream with you after our daybreak show tomorrow from 6 to 8 a.m. I'll be back here at 11 a.m. and Hunter will stream once again tomorrow night at 7 p.m. again to give you the latest updates on what to expect for the upcoming wet weather on Monday. We'll have most of our meteorologists on the schedule for Monday to keep you safe from any potential severe weather. Again, a level 2 out of 5 risk is in place for Hampton Roads in northeastern North Carolina, and we'll make sure to update you with any new information about this system as we get closer. Thank you so much for joining me today, and we'll see you tonight at 7 p.m. with meteorologist Hunter Forrest.